Okay, welcome everyone to IE 206 Engineering Economy class. This is today continuing chapter 2 that where we stopped last time here on the shifted uniform series, and we have explained example before on this chapter. To recap what we have covered the last time, let's go back to the slides and let's see that the important message I told you last time to recall and always remember when you solve the problems from a similar example where is annual information given or annual payments given, and you need to find the present given A. You have to consider 1 year ahead when you calculate the present from the annual or the annual from present. In the future, what is the F given A or A given F, it is going to be the same last year. I told you to read these two lines. They are very important, and we have explained the first example here in this chapter. And today, before we continue with the examples in the slides, I'm going to demonstrate additional example. Example, let's just share the file here, and we can then go back to the slide. Okay, let's zoom in here. Okay, you can see the PDF file on your screen. Okay, great. So the example here, before we go back to the slide, let's demonstrate this example because it's going to show you different or implementation of those two important messages I have told you about. This example shows a cash flow starting from year 0 to year 11. And there is annual payments from 1 until 4 with a $300, and from 7 to 11 with a $500. There is a gap in year 5 and year 6. There was no any payments here, and the question asks you to find the annual from 5 to 10. So you have to find an annual from a given annual. So the annual is given is splitted values and different values from 1 to 4 with the 300 and 7 to 11 with the 500. And he wants you to find the annual from this year 5 until year 10. So you have to convert all these given information values here to be in annual format from 5 to 10. How are we going to solve this problem? So as I told you last time, I asked you to read the material before we come to our class today, so it will make it easier and we can solve extra examples. The voice. The voice is weak. Okay.
Okay, is the voice still not clear? Now this is after reloading the page. Hopefully now it's working. Okay, so let's go back to the example here. Now, what is your suggestion for solving this problem? It is requested you have to convert the given information here, that the year 1 to year 4, year 7 and 11, both of them, you need to convert it to annual format from 5 to 10. What is the first step that we need to do? Okay, the first step that you need to do, you have to convert the annual to a single value. Exactly. You need to convert it to a single value so you can then change it over the cash flow. So the annual from 1 to 4 need to be converted to a single value, whether to be at year 4 as a single value or 1 year ahead at year 0. For also the years from 7 to 11, you need to convert it either as a single value or a year ahead at year 6. The next step here, it shows that with the blue font here or the blue color, that the annual format for the 500, now the 0 here is missing, sorry. The 500, it is converted to year 6 as a single value with the formulation given a for I number of years is 5. Why if it's 5? Because you count the number of arrows for the annual and you can find it's 5. And why it is placed on year 6? Because remember that rule, when you have to find or when you need to find the present given annual, you have to go a year ahead. For the other part of the 300, that's starting from year 1 to 4, here I use a different way to show you the difference when you convert a future from annual and present from annual. In this case, we are going to convert all these values to year 4, and this is going to be considered a future given annual. And in this case, you will count the number of years of the arrows, and it's 4. And then you use the formulation F given A for interest rate, and the number of years is 4, and you multiply it with the 300. We call these values as a C4, and we call this one as a B6 because it's placed on 6, and this one is placed on year 4. Again, in this case, there are two ways to solve this problem. You can either convert all these values to year 11 as a single value, or you convert them to year 6. In the solution here, I show you how we convert them all to year 6. On the second part, where is the annual from 1 to 4, again, you can either convert them all to year 4, or all of them you convert them to year 0. And I used the future here in this case to show you the difference between dealing with the annual from the present or dealing with the annual with the future. Dealing with the annual with the present, you have to go a year before. And the future, you don't have to, and you just place the future where is the last annual in the series. In this case, it is placed at year 4, and then you use the formulation F because you need to find F, and the given information is the annual, so F slash A, and we read it at this way: F given A. That's mean the annual is given and the future is needed. The I is the interest. You can place any I, and the number of years is 5. In this case here on the on the right side of the cash flow, we convert them all to the present, and we use this formulation. Why we use the P? Because we need to find all these values a year ahead before the annual series. The annual series start at year 7, and we want to find them at year 6. So we call or we recall the formulation. P slash A, we read it P given A. That's mean P is the unknown and A is the given, and I is, you can place any I. This is just to show you how we solve the problem, and the number of years is 5 because you count the number of arrows. And we recall this as a B6 and we call this as a B4. In the second step, now you converted all those values to a single value here. The blue arrow here that representing B6 and the green arrow here represent the C4. The second step is you need to convert either one of those two to the other so you can add them. We cannot add B6 and C4 because they are not placed on the same year. They are not in the same value of money. They have to be at the same time unit, so then you can add them or sum them up. Either you convert 4 to 6 or 6 to 4. I choose we convert 6 to 4 because it's going to help us when we spread the values from 5 to 10. It will save us a step. So how we convert the value from 6 to 4, we use the formulation of P given F because the present need to be found at year 4 and the given information is the value of money at year 6. For the interest rate and the number of years is 2 because 1 and 2. 1 and 2. We want to place it at year 4. So we count the number of years. It will be 2. Okay? In the third step, after we find the present on year 4, then we can add it with the C4. And this case, you can add the value together because they are in the same time unit. So we add C4, which we found it here, and we add it with the B4, which is the B6 multiplied with the P given F for I and the number of years 2. After you find that, and we call it D4, which is number 4, the year number 4 here, it's a single value. Now you can change it from 5 to 10 using which type of formulation you guess that we are going to use? A given P or A given F? We are going to use تفضل يا صالح.
دكتور اللي قبلها من المفروض بعد المساواة تكون دي 5 ولا؟
وات
لما نحول من 6 لين 4 عشان أطلع
أيوة.
حقت السنة الخامسة.
No, we want to find it a year before. The question is, Salih is asking why we didn't find the present or the value at year 5. When you want to find the annual from 5 to 10, that's mean you need to find the present a year ahead. Remember the rule. You have to go a year before the annual. The annual starts from year 5, so you have to go at year 4. Then when you do the annual, you will count the number of the years starting from 5 until 10, which is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So in this case, to find the number of year or the value of the annual from year 5 until year 10, what you have to do is you convert the annual, you convert the present to annual using the formulation A given P P is placed at year 4, and you multiply it with D4 that we just found earlier. Why is 6? Because you count the arrows when the annual start from 5 to 10, you will find it's a 6 arrows, and that's mean it's a 6 years. In this example, you can apply any interest rate, and you solve this example to validate the information. Now, let's go back to an example from the slide similar to this one, but it's on the slide number. So let's go to the slides. Slide number 10. So in slide number 10, gave you that the values from year 2 to 10 as an annual. A equal 500, and the interest rate is 10%, and ask you to find the annual from 4 to 15. So he gave you the annual from 2 to 10 and ask you to find the annual from 4 until 15. So you have to expand this cash flow until 15. What is the first step that we need to do? The first step you need to do always when you deal with the annual, you need to convert it to a single value. You cannot deal with the annual as a series of payments or installments, and you deal with them as a one single value. So you have to convert them to a single value. How we convert the annual to a single value? We have two ways. Either we convert all these values to year 10, or we convert all these values to year 1. Why to 1 and not to 2? Because when we convert to 1, we are converting using the present, and in the present, remember the rules that I have just showed at the beginning of this class and the last class, when it says when you deal with the present given annual, that you have to go a year ahead. That's why we need to go to year 1. But when we deal with the future from annual, we don't need to go a year further, and we stop at the last year, whereas here in this case year 10. So either you go with the future given annual or a present given annual. In the slide here, it shows you that both ways. So in the first solution here, it shows you that when he converted all to a present, and on the second solution, it shows you that when all of them converted to the future. On the first step, when is all converted to the present, you count the number of years: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is 9 years starting from year 2 to year 10, and that's the number of years you are going to use with the formulation P given A for 10% and 9 years. When you convert them all to year number 1 here, then he moved them to year number 3. Why to year number 3? Because then he's going to use the annual given the present, as we did in the last example that I showed you with the handwritten. He wants to spread that value to 12 years starting from year 4 to 15. If you count the number of years from 4 to 15, you will find them 12 years. When you multiply all these values together, you will get the value of the years from 4 to 15, and you find the annual for that value. If you are going to use the future, in this case, you are going to convert all these values to year number 10, and it's going to be 9 years. But in this case, you have to find the present at year 3 again, so then you can find the annual from year 3. Why year 3? Again, because the present from annual, we have to go a year before or a year ahead, and the year requested in the question is from 4 to 15, and a year ahead for the 4 to 15 is year number 3. Again, the remaining of this part is similar to the, where is the A given P, 10% for 12 years. So let's take questions. After you read this example, write down all your questions and let's discuss the questions here. Okay, did anyone understood the example here? Okay, I need from someone who understood the example, explain the example again with either one, either the present or the future way. You can select either the present or the future way. Anyone? Hazim, you want to participate? تفضل حازم.
ايوه السلام عليكم. احد يسمعني؟
مسموع الصوت.
في صوت؟ اوكي.
نعم.
ابغى اشرح يعني النقطة الأولى اللي هي P على A. أول شيء قبل نحول لازم نحولها كلها مع بعض إلى يعني single payment ودامنا يعني بنستخدم البي فراح ناخذ يعني خطوة قبل A اللي هي حتكون 1. تمام. فنحول كل ال A إلى 1 وبعدين ننقلها إلى 3 اللي هي حتكون يعني future. راح ننقل الواحد إلى 3 حنستخدم قانون الإف على بي وبعدين بنطلع ال A يعني من 4 إلى 15.
Thank you, Hazim. Okay, now for those who requested to repeat the example, is it clear now? Why we converted, someone is asking why we converted to year 3. Again, do you recall this rule that I have explained earlier? Where is Abdalila? Abdalila, I want you to come, open your mic and read remember here from remember. Abdalila, please take the mic and read it.
دكتور أنا فاهم هذه النقطة اللي هو إذا بنحول من الحاضر إلى الماضي نرجع سنة ورا، أنا فاهمها. لكن يعني قصدي ليش يعني أنا حاليا عندي اللي هو بحسب الأنوال من السنة الرابعة للسنة 15، ليه نستعمل السنة الثالثة قبلها إذا أنا حسبتي تكون من السنة الرابعة؟
طيب, if you understood the rule, when you said when you want to find the present, you have to go a year ahead. You said you understood this. Okay, what is the year ahead for year number 4? Alhamdulillah, please answer me. Okay, 3. So now, do you get it why we need to go to year 3? Is it clear or no? If you are asking why is this the concept is coming from the original formula of P given A. When you go to the formulas in the table, it needs you to do a year ahead when you find the present from the annual. So the original formula, not the tables, the formula that on the first page, it shows that why we need to go 1 year ahead. But if you understood that we have to go 1 year ahead, then the year ahead for year number 4, that's mean it's 3. Salih, you have questions related to this example or something else? تفضل.
ايه نفسه تقدر ترجع لنفس
اتفضل.
الصفحة دي.
Yes. Okay.
طيب دحين اللي هنا 9 سنوات اللي هي من 3 لين 10.
Okay.
طب السنتين هذه حقت
من
ايش؟
no from no 9 سنوات. You count the years from 2 to 10.
طيب والسنتين اللي قبل ايش هي هذه؟ اللي هي اف بي 10%
Year 0 and year 1
اللي هو لا رقم 2 اللي بعدها.
in the solution here.
لا نفس السطر بي A بعدين 10%
P given
9
A.
بعد
Exactly. Okay. So if
هذه
you're asking about this, if give this one.
هذه ايه.
Okay. Okay. The F given P for 10% year 2 years. Now when you converted all these values to present, you are now at year 1. You are now at year 1. To move to year 3, what you need to move 2 years, 1 and 2. You need to move from year 1 to year 3. And why we need to move to year 3? Because it's just going to be the year ahead before 4, so we have to move to year 3, and that is the transformation from year 1 to year 3. Is it clear? The transformation from year 1 to year 3 given in this F given P, because you need to find the future. You need to find the value in year 3, and you are now at year 1. After you converted all these values to year 1, you are now at year 1. And you need to move it to year 3, which is in the future after 2 years, and then you convert it to annual. Clear, right?
طب هذه الطريقة الأولى. الطريقة
Let's
الثانية ال7 سنوات حق ايش تدل على ايش؟
Okay, we just explained that also. And when we convert all these values to the future, you are now at year 10. To move from year 10 to year 3, you need to find a P given F, because the values at year 10 going to be a future value comparing to year 3. So you need to find it P given F. And the number of years is 7. When you count the number of years, you would find it is 7 from 10 to 3. And this is another way to solve the problem, by the way. This is not all the complete solution. The first line is using the present, the second line using the future. Okay? So let's move on to, okay, this is up to you and also up to the problem and how is the cash flow given to you. But you need to know how to change the values to single, whether using a present given annual or future given annual. So then you can easily deal with any type of problem. Here, there is another example, shows that another splitted annual from 1 to 6, and then there is another one from 8 to 10. This is similar to the example I have showed you earlier before today when I started with. So I'm going to leave you this example because it's just a practice to the same example I explained at the beginning, and I intentionally didn't solve it numerically. I solved the concept. So here you can solve it with the numerical. All what you have to consider here, the values are different. The annual is 500 and 500 for both splitted values. In that case was 300 and 500, and it doesn't matter because it was not solved numerically. So there is no anything going to be affected by that. So follow the same steps I have done in that example and try to solve it without looking to the answer here, and try to see how you are going to approach to the solution. This is another example. It shows you that a series of values that equal 500 starting from year 1 to year 4. But then from year 5 to year 10, another series with a 600 started. after we finish, Abdul Samad, please. Let just complete this example and then we will go with the questions. So the year 1 to year 4, we have annual equal 500, and from 5 to 10 we have an annual 600. When you see this common line between the two values from the 500 and the 600, that shows you that the 500, it's a common between the two series. لأنه why the 600 it's already included the 500 plus to 100. So the years from 1 to 10, it has a 500. In addition, from year 5 to 10, you have additional 100 into the cash value. I want you to guess now the approach that we need to solve the problem with while I'm going to take the questions. Question from Saleh says, I have to find a single value from the annual and then consider to be I found the solution. Not finding the solution, but is going to be easier when you find it a single value first to deal with it as you can manipulate it at any number of years in the cash flow and you can approach to the solution. But this is not the solution. The solution in that problem was asking for an annual given an annual. So finding a single value is not considered to be an annual. But here in this problem is asking for a single value. It's finding the present worth. The PW is a stand for present worth, and the present worth is a single value. Yes, so when you find it at year 0 as a single value, yes, consider to be the solution. Abdul Samad, your question? What is the meaning of the W? Okay, I think I just explained that. The PW stands for the present worth. AW stands for annual worth. القيمة الحالية، القيمة المستقبلية، القيمة السنوية. worth القيمة أو ما تعادله أو ما تساويه. Okay? So in this question, asking to find the present at year 0. So you have to convert all these values, all of them, to year 0. Again, you have two ways, or yes, you have two ways to convert them to a single value. Either you consider from year 1 to 4 as an annual with the 500 and you convert it to 0 by using P given A for 10% for the number of years 4, and then you convert these 600 to year 0, but you cannot move them to year 0 directly. You need to convert them first to a single value at year 4, a year ahead. Remember, a year ahead is going to be at year 4, and then from year 4 you can convert it to 0. And that's why P given A for 10%, 6 years, representing that the values of the 600 from year 5 to year 10 placed on year 4, and the P given F for 10% for the number of years 4 is representing the values that in the future, after you converted the annual from 5 to 10 to year 4, then you need to convert it to year 0. Okay? So on the second way of solving this problem, you can use the 500 since it's common between the 600 and the 500. The 500 is common between them. So you can use the 500 as an annual from 1 to 10 and you convert them all in one step using P given A for 10% for 10 years. Why is 10 years here? Because the 500 applied from 1 to 10. 5 to 6 has additional 100 to that 500. So he subtracted the 500 for those years and he used the 500 from 1 to 10 converted in one step. Then see, instead of the 600, he used the 100 that remained from year 5 to 10, and he converted on the same way as we converted the 600 in the previous step. Clear? Questions before we move on? Okay, so let's move on to the next example. This question is requesting that to convert all the values in the cash to be annual from 1 to 10. He gave you a 500, the same previous cash flow, 500 for the years 1 to 4 and 600 from the years 5 to 10. He wants you to convert them all to be an annual from 1 to 10. When he said now he needs to convert it for annual, maybe someone asked, okay, they are already in annual. يعني they are already in annual format. Yes, they are in annual, but they are in a different values. The first 4 years they are in 500, and the remaining, when a question like that comes, that's mean you need to convert them both to be an annual with the exact value. And how we are going to do that, I will give you 2 minutes to read the solution, and I need someone from you come here and take the mic and explain the answer. Okay? Take 2 minutes or 3 minutes to read this example, and I need someone participate in explaining this example because it's similar to the examples that we have covered earlier. So طيب صالح.
طيب دكتور، اللي فهمته انه بما انها صارت السنين كاملة من 1 إلى 10، فما يصير انه مثلا نصها تكون بقيمة ونص الثانية تكون بقيمة، فيخليها كلها بنفس القيمة، عشان كذا زاد 100. الو.
I can hear you, but I want to hear from the students. Do you understand?
السؤال هل ينفع مثلا لو ان نفس الإجابة بس خليت 500 ناقص 100 أو معلش 600 ناقص 100؟
600.
ناقص 100 واخلي
You mean in
كل
this question or
السنوات.
the previous?
لا نفسه ده اللي انت حاط عليه.
Yes, okay, it's already done.
اي اقصد هل ينفع انه اخليه 600 ناقص 100؟
Yeah, now when you subtract the 600, now Salih's question, can we subtract a 100 from the 600? We are subtracting the 100 from the 600 at year 5 and also 100 from the 600 at year 6. So we are subtracting at the same unit of time. We are not subtracting from different time values. Okay? For each year, at the same exact year, we are taking 100 for each single year. So it remains 500, and those 100 remains like an additional or separate 100 here at year 5 and 100 at year 6 and so on. But I need from you, did anyone understood how this question can be solved and can explain the solution?
يعني ينفع ولا لا؟
Omar? Yes. This is what happened here. Yeah.
اوكي تمام.
Okay, I need someone explain the solution. Anyone can explain the solution here? تفضل يا
السلام
علي.
عليكم. دكتور أنا ما فهمت طريقة الحل اللي محطوطة في نفس السلايدات، بس يعني تقريبا طلعت حل ممكن إنه يكون صح وممكن غلط، ما أعرف. إنه نحول الأنيوال من 1 ل4 نحولها
If you
للصفر.
want, I can. If you want, Ali, I can share
أي.
the you and you can present. If you solve the problem on hand, I can make you as a presenter and you can present your solution. الحل عندك مكتوب تبى
لا والله ما كتبته في ورقة، بس يعني في بالي.
طيب اوكي خلاص كمل
هو نحولها من 1 ل4 الأنيوال، نحولها لبريزنت على الصفر، وحناخذ بعدين نحول من 5 ل10 حنحولها الانوال على 4 في البريزنت ل4، ونحول من اللي هي بريزنت فيوتشر من 4 ل0 بحيث انها تطلع كلها قيمه واحده. بعدين بعد ما نخليها كلها قيمه واحده في الصفر، بعدين نخليها انوال من 1 ل10.
Okay, I got you. Anyone else has عبد الصمد? Anyone has any suggestions or comments to his answer? Okay, so let me explain it. Now what I'm going to explain, I will explain the second way, which is the present, and then we will go back to the future. Okay, in the present, it's why I selected the present, because it's similar to Ali's explanation. Ali was going to explain that he said we are going to convert the values of the 500 from year 1 to year 4 to year 0 as we did previously, and then also the 600 from year 5 to year 10, we are going to convert it to a present year to year 4 first, and then we move it to year 0. After we move both of them to year 0, then we are going to convert it to annual from 1 to 10. So the first bracket here, P given A, for 10, number of years 6. Okay? When you count the number of years here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you convert it to year 4, and then from year 4 you convert it to year 0 by using P given F 10% and number of year is 4. Okay, clear so far? Okay.
Yes.
Now for the last step. Okay, for the last step, what you are going to do, you are going to convert that years from 1 until 10, from 1 to 10, using A given P for 10% for 10 for those values converted to year 0. If you look to the 500, in this case, why it was added to the 100 without any conversion? The reason is because the annual here, it's already remained for those years equal. They are equal. So you can add it immediately to the value of the annual that you are going to place. But in the case here was the annual was not equally in the given question. That's why we couldn't add the 600 and the 500. In this case, we need to convert those values to a same time value of money, and then we can add them. Now, let's see the easier way, which is the second way, which is using the future. In the future, he's going to convert the 100 that remained in the 600 to year 10 using F given A for 6 years. So he moved the years from the value of the 100 from year 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and he moved them all together at year 10. Okay? And then he converted from this year to annual from 1 to 10 using A given F. We are always in the previous examples using A given P. Rarely we have used A given F. Note that when you do A given F, it doesn't matter the number of years, those 10, if it's exceeding or decreasing. That's mean if the number of years from 10 to 20, you are going to use the same formulation. If you are going to use the years from 1 to 10, you are going to use the same formulation. Why? Because in the future, you don't need to go a step ahead. You don't need to do 1 year ahead. And again, why the 500? It is remained because the 500 now, it is equal for all those years, and you can add any other value to the same 500 because the 500 now it's remained from 100 to 10 from year 1 to 10. So if your annual was, let's say, 700 found to be from 1 to 10, what you are going to do, to add the 700 plus to the 500. But since there was a value here different than the 500 from 1 to 10, it was added on the years 5 to 10. We needed first to eliminate that difference. We need to eliminate that difference. And that's what we did in these two solutions. Is it clear? Okay, Samad is asking a question, which is a good question. Now, Samad is asking, what about if I split it? That's mean I'm going to use, correct me, Samad, if I'm getting your question right, okay? Samad is asking if we used the same what we did in the, where is the example? This is the one, yes. He's asking, what about if we use what we did here and we found already the present at 0. And now we can find the annual from 1 to 10 using the value that we have found in the previous example. صح يا عبد الصمد? Is this your question? Can you then take the mic and please explain your question? Okay, it's not clear. The mic is not working with Abdul Samad. Okay, I will get back to your question, but here, if you go to this solution here, and imagine now, part A was asking you to find the present, and part B was asking you to find the annual from 1 to 10. After you find the present at year 0, basically, you can convert it to from 1 to 10 in one step using this value you have found and multiply it with the A given P for 10 and count the number of years, and that will be immediately the solution. Okay, but Abdul Samad is asking a question that about splitting each transformation and add them instead of multiply them. Okay, this is exactly what we did in that example. In this example, we add them. We added 500 transformation with the 600 transformation, or we added the 500 with the additional 100, and that's the value at present equal at time 0. And that's what I mean. If you have already the value at time 0, a single value, you can spread it from 1 to 10 using the converter A given P. And you count the number of years, 1, 2, 3 until 10, it will be 10. Now, anyone has a question, I want you to take the mic to ask questions, because that was the last example. There is a small part that need to be explained after this slide. If you have questions, Hazim, please take the mic and ask your question so everyone can hear it.
يعني بنحول ال A إلى ال F، نحولها يعني إلى القيمة صفر، أو يعني إلى الزمن صفر، يعني present مو الواحد.
If we want to transfer معلش الصوت حقك كان ايوه بيقطع. كان اللي سمعته انه انت كنت بتسأل عن ال A وال F، صح؟
ايوه صح.
طيب if we want to convert from 10 to 0، صح؟
ايوه لو يعني بنحولها نوديها يعني للواحد ولا للصفر، لان هي يعني ما هي بي بالنهايه.
No, now if you are dealing with annual and you want to convert it to year 0, it is going to be a present given annual. If you are converting all these values to a single value at year 10 and you want to move it to year 0, it's going to be present given future. So if it's a single value at year 10, if you are asking about this step, now here in this step, you already converted the future, you converted to future from the annual. Which annual? Annual here, it was here from 5 until 10. you move it to year 10 using this conversion. 5 given A for 10% 6 years. After that, you want to find the annual from the future. The annual from the future for the years 1 to 10 using this conversion. A given F 10% for number of years 10. Why we are taking the 0? When we convert from future to annual or annual to future, please read. فين تعال who is asking this? يا نواف يا حجيلي تعال يا نواف. نواف take the mic. فين شرد نواف؟ he exit the room or what? طيب نواف, are you there? Please read this. Okay. يعني if you are here, can you please read this sentence again? When we use the F given A or A given F factor, the F given A is in the same year as the last A. So you don't go a year before, you don't go to year 0. If you are moving from future to annual using A
لا يا
given
دكتور،
F. حازم تفضل.
سؤالي يا دكتور اللي أول
مع
عن الإف اللي أولى كانت يعني على أولى، هو طالب يعني من 1 إلى 10، فحولناها يعني من 10 إلى 0.
نعم.
هي كانت يعني على 10 فحولناها يعني من 10 إلى 0 عشان نحسب الفترة حقتها. مستحيل يعني نحطها على 1 عشان نحسب من 1 إلى
طيب لحظة، هذا دحين حازم. In the second solution صح؟ If you are
كلها
talking about the
دكتور.
second
لا
solution,
عند
yes.
لا الأول فيرست. لا الفيرست.
The first one.
A على F.
The first one. A على F. Okay. A given F. A given F. What is the one given? Is the future. The future is a single value or multiple values?
Single value على 10.
على 10. ممتاز. We want to find it. We want to find the annual from this single value at year 10. For how many years? 10. Okay, count from this point for 10 years. Where you will stop? You will stop at year 1.
تمام.
Isn't the question asked to find from 1 to 10? صح?
Yes.
The question asked to find from
أيوة.
1 to 10. Now we are finding A from F, not A from P. انتبه. There is a big difference. A given F, you count the years from the same exact year where is ending. Now we are starting from year 10 and ending at year 1. So you count those number of years. If it was A given P, موضوع مختلف. You have to go a year before.
دكتور معليش. عدد السنوات مكتوب 10 وهي 9 المفروض. لو حسبناها يعني من 1 إلى 10، لو حسبناها يعني من 1 إلى 10 حتكون عدد السنوات 10، لا 9، أو الخطوط حتكون 9 مش 10.
كيف؟ 10 is included with you يا حازم. شوف كلهم كتبوا لك 10. دحين اتفاهم معهم انت. عادي اسال ما فيها حاجه يعني. there is no shying in learning وما فيها حرج ابدا.
لا تمام
حتى لو ما
دكتور.
انت فاهم. واحده لا عادي يا حازم، ترى يعني بنمزح مع بعض هنا.
ايوه واضحه الله يعطيك العافيه. اكيد.
ها طيب. عبد الله الصاعدي question. دايم نبدا من السنه الاول. The question asking from 1. If the question asks from year 2, then you have to solve this problem starting from 2. But the question asks to start from 1, not another year. عمر, your question. تفضل.
السلام عليكم.
ايوه
صوت واضح؟
الصوت واطي، ارفع لنا صوتك.
طيب
واضح بس شويه واطي.
طيب الحين
أي.
واضح؟
واضح تفضل.
تمام. بس الفقرة اللي قبلها اللي هي فقرة ايه؟
اوكي
السلايد
let's
اللي
go
قبل.
back.
انا عشان بس توصل معي الفكرة اللي
أي.
هي من البداية 500 الحين عشان نطلع البريزنت وورث اللي هو بس
جميل.
البريزنت يعني من 1 الى هذا 5 او اللي هي الاربع الفترات هذه
واي.
الانية.
طيب واحده يا عمر عندك two periods. البيريدز الاولى from 1 to 4. اوكي. السكند period from 5 to 10. الفيرست period الفاليو كانت 500 عندك. السكند period الفاليو كانت 600. اوكي. تمام. when we want to convert them both to present لازم we deal with each period in separate. ليش؟ لأنهم they are in different values. فكيف نتعامل معاهم يعني منفصلين individually؟ ناخذ البيريود الأولى. period الأولى from 1 to 4. what
عندنا
is the
كل شيء ما
values
عدا البي.
500. what is كل شيء ما عدا
يعني نبغى البي وعندنا الاي والانترست والان.
ممتاز. عندنا
ايوه
number of years. how many 4 years
4.
صح.
ايوه
we want to find it at year 0. ممتاز.
تمام.
and the second period we want to find it the present from 5 to 10 at year 0. can we go from 5 to 10 immediately؟ ما نقدر. why؟
لازم نجيبها
لأنه
وش.
عندنا هنا سنوات حتكون. أيوة we have to go 1 year ahead. remember 1 year ahead from when we say present given annual. so a P given A for how many years؟ 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 years. فإحنا هنا حولناهم to year 4. بعد ما حولناهم to year 4 then we move them to year 0 using this P given F 10% for years.
تمام.
طيب طيب عبد الصمد يعني I hope you guys use the mics when you ask questions عشان يكون clear to everyone. لأنه type here sometimes يعني in the text or the chat box doesn't give me the question correctly. You are asking now if you solve this example here using the value was given in the previous, it is going to give you 548. Yeah, it's supposed to give you the same if you use the same or the exact table values or correct table values. If that's your question or my understanding. طيب you calculated and it was not given as 548. طيب what is the formulation you used يا عبد الصمد؟ Can you type the formulation? Okay. Well, F given P, no, you don't do F given P. So please practice this. I will give you that as a practice till the next lecture. You don't use F given P. We already said that in the lecture. You can go on the recorded session and see what is the right formulation. So let's move on. So the time, يعني because it's running. The last part, which is the interpolation. Interpolation, it's a concept that you have already covered it in the يعني high school, or maybe in the beginning of the mathematics courses. The interpolation, when using a table and you don't have the exact value of the interest rate that was given to you, what you do is you do interpolation. And the interpolation, basically, to find the value on the table above and below the requested value as it shows here in the example. So imagine if I'm bringing you a question with an interest rate equal to 7.3, and when you look up in the table you don't find f given a or f given p for 7.3, but you have 7 and you have 8. What you do in that case, you find the value for 7 and you find the value for 8, and you do the interpolation first degree with the one unknown equation, if you recall طرفين في الوسطين, to find the value of x, which means the value that from the table, but it was not given in the table, obviously, because the percentage was not listed in the table you have. So you use the formula here, you multiply the 7 with the subtraction, or let's say you subtract the 7.3 and the 7, and you divide them by the 8 minus 7, and then you equalize that with the subtraction of the other side of the table, x minus 0.14 divided by 0.14 minus x. بعدين بتضرب those two sides together to solve the equation for x, and that will be the value for 7.3. So this, when we use it, when we have an interest value that is not listed in the table, in that case we use the interpolation concept that I believe you already covered that in linear algebra, that in calculus 1 or 2. Okay, I believe this is, everyone knows it, but if you don't know, um, you can apply this to any of the values from the tables where is a missing value in the middle. So for example, in the table you have uh, even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, and in that case try to find it at odd number in the middle and apply that interpolation and see how much is the value. You will see it very close, because if you look to the x value here, it's 0.144, which is obviously يعني, sounds logic, because it's placed between the 0.149 and 0.142, so it is يعني logical value. And pay attention here, if you are using the complete digit for the decimal, make sure that you use that for both cases. So don't use 0.14 here and then use 0.15 or 0.149. So either you use the complete, and I prefer use the complete value, because the table change in يعني sum of 100 digit format. Okay. Any questions? طيب, this is chapter 2. I want from you to read this chapter again and practice the example I have said that you need to practice it here, because it's similar to the one I have explained at the beginning of this lecture, which is, I believe it was, sorry, I think I skipped it. I want you to practice this example without looking to the solution, after reading the first example I have explained, try to cover the solutions and solve the examples. From there, you can practice and understand how you move from present to annual, from annual to present, or vice versa. And we will come, inshallah, in next class on Wednesday, and we will start with chapter 5. So until then, if you have please questions, try to type your questions on the video comments when we have it inshallah online or on YouTube, so I can look to your questions. تفضل يا صالح.
دكتور معلش لآخر مرة لو سمحت القاعدة ذيك لأنه دائما بتلخبط فيها.
Can you please repeat your question, because at the first part I missed the first part.
أنا بقول لك بس معلش أنا آسف عدتها كثير، بس القاعدة هذيك اللي المهمة مرة ذيك ما يعني دائما بتلخبط فيها. تقدر لو سمحت تعيدها لأنه اللي بتقول غير المكتوب في نفس
Okay.
السلايد.
I question to that part. When you want to understand it, we don't go to those examples here in the slides. Go to the one here. Go to this one here, Salih. For everyone, not only you. If you want to recall what is the rule, look to this example. This example, it is breaking down the solution step by step. I know in the slides it's solving the problem in one step, so that's why maybe the confusion come from. But here we are dealing with the two rules. In the right side, where is the blue font, we are dealing with the present given annual. On the left side, we are dealing with the future given annual. So the both rules are applied here, but using step by step. In the first side on the right here, when we apply the present given annual, when we want to convert the annual to a present, we need to go a year before. As you can see, we have to go to year 6 if we want to convert the annual from 7 to 11 to a present. How we convert it? We use the formulation P given A, because A is given and P is the one needed, and you count the arrows. How many arrows? For the second part, where is the on the left side, where is the green font? On the left side, when we want to convert, yes, now I think it came back. When we on the left side, now we are going to repeat the left side. When we want to convert the future from annual, we don't do a year ahead. That's the rule, the second part of the rule. You see, the annual was given in the question from 1 to 4, and we want to find the future from annual, so we place the future on the last arrow. The last arrow placed on year 4, so here is the future where it placed. Whereas in the present, when we want to find the present from the annual, we needed to go a year before on year 6. But on the future from annual, we didn't need to do that. We placed the future on the last year where the arrow stopped, which is year number 4. And the formulation for that will be F given A for the interest, and the number of years are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here where is the future will be placed. But in the present will be placed on the year ahead. who asked the question and for the everyone else. Is it clear? Follow this example from the beginning when I explained that, and it will show you the difference between the two concepts in the rule, and then move on to the numeric. Question. Okay, the time is up now. Please, if you have any questions, bring them for the next class, and inshallah I will post this video today on the YouTube. We have created a YouTube channel thanks to engineer Muhammad Abdul Ghani. He helped me in this was a student request from the summer semester, to tell you when it was started. And the idea to have not only engineering economy but all other classes I'm going to teach in the future to be recorded online, regardless whether if we are going to keep the blackboard continuing in the future or no. This will help you to recall any lecture that you have missed, whether in the real classes or in the blackboard. In addition, I'm going to be inshallah in the future taking care of this channel to be an additional supplement for extra problem solving and for extra explanation with the Arabic language, where students needed to improve themselves in the course without compromising the requirement in the regular classes. So I hope you enjoy the lecture over there, and also if you have questions you can type in the comment for the video on the YouTube channel, and also I will reply inshallah either there or in the recorded session. Thank you all, and I wish you all the best, and see you inshallah on Wednesday. Take care and good luck.